Hello, everybody. Tyrone TG3 here, and we're back again after so long. It's been literally a year. We're back on Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters March. Natalie, introduce
Hello.
yourself.
I'm Natalie. I go by It's Time to Drew
It's
online. So I come
it's
in once a year for Duel
it's
Monsters
it's
March.
it's time to Drew. Oh my goodness, it's been so long, and here we have a nice treat for you all today. We're gonna talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters, the series that I
Yeah.
completely forgot existed. By the way, I want to go on
Yes.
record and say that the only reason I know this series exists is because it was brought back up when I was looking through the just all the Yu-Gi-Oh series, and then I heard that apparently this series only exists in America. This is an American
hmm
exclusive. There is no
Lucky us.
right. There is no sub of this. This is exclusively dub. Why would Yu-Gi-Oh do this? Why did they do this? It's
Yeah,
so
we've got
weird.
this and the first movie were commissioned by 4Kids. So you have them to thank for this in the movie.
Damn, that's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, and so first of all, when you figured out this was a dub exclusive, what did you think? What did you think of the fact that this is only dub, no Japanese at all?
Yeah, it's like really unusual. Like I can't think of many other shows, that I guess, 4Kids, like the dubbing company has that power to just be like, hey, can we just like make it ourselves? Like that's
I,
just
I
kind of
mean, this
crazy.
this goes into like animation and stuff and drawing. That means somebody drew all of the models for you for each of the characters and did all of that, and they were like, "Can we get Japanese kid people to voice it?" Nope. Like what the like what? That's crazy. And you would think, oh, okay, since it's a one-off filler saga that technically isn't like relevant to what's happening and it's English exclusive, it's gonna look bad, right? Not really. Like, yeah, there's some. You pointed out some wonky animation things that they did a little bit ago. I want to
Mhm.
say yesterday, but for the most part, this looks okay. Like, it looks fine, quality wise. It
Yeah.
it looks better than the Grand Prix saga.
I was gonna say, like, even though it's like to me, I'm like, oh, I don't, this art style doesn't look as good, but it's like, yeah, when you're considering season like 4 and 5 of Yu-Gi-Oh, where you have those real big drops, it's like, okay, the quality's, not too terrible compared to what the actual Japanese show had. So,
Right. So, giving context as to what this season's exactly about, apparently what happened is that an ancient magic has affected a pyramid in India. Yes, this is real. A pyramid in India, and just so happens Joey happened to win 4 tickets to India. Now, Grandpa was disappeared a while ago to India because he was doing an archaeological research, but he hadn't returned back. So when Joey won the tickets to India, they just happened to crash land and just happened to be in the pyramid. Yugi points this out too, by the way. Well, Yami Yugi points this out to Tim. He's pissed. Yami's like, hold on 1 second, Yugi. Joey just happened to win a trip to India. We just happened to be here right when the spot where Grandpa disappeared. This is sus. This is sus. I love that he's the first one to point this out. I love it. I love that he's the one that be like, this ain't right. Nah,
yeah.
this is trash.
I do love though, like since 4Kids made the show, like how self-aware it is. Like it's very funny how they're like, "Oh, we can't have a normal day. Oh, we can't have a vacation." Like the whole time, they're just like
Right.
lampshading how silly it is.
Also, I think this is the season. Like Joey and Tristan have always shared one brain cell, but for some reason, the sharing of a brain cell is like cranked to 11 in
Yeah,
this season. They are so stupid, but I kind of love it. Like,
yeah. I like their little songs. Their little
yeah, yeah.
kick, kick the can. It's cute.
Can't kick them in. I can't. I'm like, what are these? Uh, this season, it's filler. It's complete filler nonsense that has nothing to do with anything. But you know what? I love their friend dynamic here. It's everything I
Mhm.
love about Yugi's friends. Whenever I watch any other series of Yu Gi Oh, I'm just like, these are just people that just happen to duel together, I guess. Yugi's friends are his friends. Like these people are idiots, and I love them. These people,
Yeah, it's kind of nice because like with Capsule Monster, I mean they all had Capsule Monsters. It wasn't the usual, like oh we're
yeah,
just gonna watch Yugi Duel. It's like everyone kind of got to do something. Like they still, if anything important needed to be done, okay, Yugi's gonna do it, but
yeah. I
everyone
mean,
got a lot
yeah.
more focus.
I think Tristan got way more development in this filler season than he's gotten in any of the other seasons of
We
Yu-Gi-Oh!
know that he loves melons now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Also, he's the one that solved the first half of the dark and light puzzle. So like
Hmm.
he did that. Tristan's legitimately kind of good. He kept using freaking Thunder Kid for some reason, which was kind of odd. But once he switched to Thunder Dragon, I was like, okay, Tristan putting in a little work. More I can say for freaking
Yeah,
Taya, but Taya did
yeah.
her usual, like oh, if we're friends, we'll be together. There was so many times where I was like, heal these people, Taya, you asshole.
Yeah, what was it? Because when Yugi like had that armor and
Mm,
she heals him and she's like, "Oh, this will make you feel better," and he's like, "Oh, well, other than like my migraine and muscles, I feel great." Like it didn't even help. I was like, "Oh,
right. Oh
poor
yeah,
Yugi."
like Yugi freaking
He like
goes
almost died.
in. Yeah, and he's just like, nah, it's cool. I'm alright. So to give the context of this, there's no dueling in this season at all. It's exclusively capsule monsters, which is funny because timeline wise, there's we don't know when this takes place timeline wise. In my headcanon, this is supposed to take place right before they head to Egypt in order to
Yeah,
discover Yugi's like past, in order to discover Tim's past. But the
it is
show,
where it is on the official website. Like that's where they slot it in. They call it season 5 right before, like between the Grand Prix and Egypt. So I
okay,
think
so
that's yeah,
my headcanon was right.
yeah.
Nice, okay, good. And honestly, I don't mind. Yu-Gi-Oh is the type of show where you can put that comfortably in there, and nothing felt like off. You can't be
Hmm.
like, oh well, this didn't happen because Joey has red eyes and he didn't have red eyes in Battle City or some shit.
Hmm.
Yeah. Or I think also based on what's happening here, I will say this, and maybe you got this vibe too. This series is 12 episodes long, which is the average length of a oddly enough, I think it's the same length as Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0. But did you ever get the sense that they did this already? Like
Oh,
remember
100%.
the virtual reality arc with
Yeah.
Mai and Joey and Mokuba and Kaiba, like they did this
Literally, like
already?
every plot point here is just some like, someone kind of read or watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Once and they're like, I could do that, and they just make their own show, and it's literally like the same thing we've seen like
It's
6 times.
literally the virtual reality arc slash the Noah arc slash the dark RPG arc all glued into one, because that's what it is. Come on now, we're not fooling anybody. Literally, the final battle is literally an RPG battle.
Yeah. I
It's
do I do have a question though, because I want
yeah.
to get your thoughts on it.
Uh,
Because like how they, incorporate the story of like Alexander the Great and India and stuff into, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is they're just like, oh yeah, Alexander the Great had the Millennium Ring and it made him evil. And he says, well, so I'm like, but like Bakura or Zork would have been in that, right? I'm like, is Bakura, like Yami Bakura, like the fucking like minions from Despicable Me? Is he the reason like
I I
every bad person in
I
history?
I hate. They had to string. I feel like they strung those together just off of a whim because it was familiar. I don't
Yeah.
think Evil Bakura was involved. I think the Millennium Ring is just evil. Like that's just
That's what I was
unfortunate.
wondering. I'm like, is it the ring or is it the spirit? Because it's
Cause
like,
you wanna know what's funny though? Well, now that you mentioned Bakura, every villain is in the opening of this, by the way. Like every
mm-hmm.
villain, Pegasus shows up. Like they're all in the opening. They're not in the series, but they're in the opening. Pegasus shows up, Merrick shows up, Darts is in this opening, like for Christ's sakes.
Greatest hits.
Right, they're all there, but obviously they don't show up. And every monster, Yugi's Dark Magician shows up, Flame Swordsman, the Egyptian God cards, they're all in the opening for no reason. They don't even appear.
Even like Kaiba, which that made me think.
Kaiba's not
I'm
even
like,
in this
I'm kind
season.
of surprised. Yeah, that's I'm like, I would think if Four Kids had full control. Like, I'm kind of shocked they didn't have Kaiba involved
Honestly,
somehow.
I think that's okay. The
Yeah,
reason being
it's
is because
I've had enough of Kaiba, but it's just like
I
from a
don't think
marketing thing. Like,
well, we
slap some
already
Blue Eyes armor on that guy and sell it as a toy.
Kaiba Corp has pure representation. He's completely trademarked. Um, I think it's okay that Kaiba's not in this one just because I don't know what he would have done. And like most of Kaiba's whole shtick would have been just not believing any of it's real,
Yeah.
complaining, insulting Joey, and then saying, Yugi, we'll duel the next time we meet. I don't feel like there's. I think he's mentioned in an episode though. Joey is about to open a treasure chest and he says he's gonna be rich as Kaiba.
Oh yeah.
So he does mention Kaiba, but I don't think Kaiba has any relevance here. So I think it's okay. Like we need a break from Kaiba because he's gonna show up in the next arc anyway. So I think it's okay. It is weird though having Blue Eyes White Dragon show up with no Kaiba. That's
Right.
odd.
Yeah.
That's odd to
Like
me.
Yugi, like using it.
I mean,
Like
okay.
Kaiba is spinning in his grave right now.
I like to tell myself that that's the spiritual successor of Grandpa's Blue Eyes White Dragon, the one that got ripped up.
Yeah.
In my head, that's what happened. I mean, I know it's not true, but that. Also, I wanted to talk about clothes. They change outfits. They've got different outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got different fits this season. Joey's rocking a the white T-shirt with the dog chain and the black shirt. Tristan's rocking like this cool little blue outfit with the white T-shirt. Taya's rocking like these like boots with a pink shirt and a nasty green mint shirt under it. And Yuki's rocking like the school uniform, but it's like a white rimmed version of it with a black undershirt. I like it. I like this. That's one thing I love about this Yu-Gi-Oh series and this cast of characters versus all the others. They change clothes. They have different outfits for almost every season, and I like that. Like it's a good.
I like Joey's outfit, like especially. It looks good.
Joey's outfit looks good on him. Yeah, look. Does he wear this in any other situation, or is this the only one?
Nope. I know there's a toy that you can buy.
What the hell? They did? Well, I guess.
Oh, hell yeah, they want their marketing money.
I mean, if the Seal of Ori Calco's dual disc wound up being a toy, so Yu-Gi-Oh is the type of series that can just work when it comes to stuff like that. Because Capsule Monsters is a game that existed way before this series started. Like, way before. Capsule Monsters was in season 0, technically. And then it wound up on a PlayStation 2 game that I want to play at some point. And then it wound up I guess they decided to make this the focus. Solomon Moto's here too, but I swear, other than deciphering the riddles, he's kind of useless. Summon Skull shows up. He can't use Summon Skull for like a chunk of episodes. Uses it again and it loses, only for him to get Curse of Dragon later. I'm like, what? Why? Why did they do this?
They didn't really know what to do with Grandpa for most, because even the whole time when Yugi's doing like, oh, my friends, like we're kind of conveniently skipping over Grandpa when we're talking about it. Like,
I think Grandpa was just a plot device to get everybody here, and then after that they were like, shoot, we're stuck with him. All right, well, we can't.
Like his whole thing. With what like Dr. Alex, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
the relationship with Rebecca's grandpa. You know, in the other season, it's like, oh.
I do like when Solomon has like fellow excavator friends. That it does make it all. Oh, speaking of which, Shoddy freaking shows up in this season too. He's here too, and he's playing Neutral Man again. He's just like,
I hate Shoddy.
Yeah, Shoddy's just like, yeah,
get out of here.
So here's the deal: y'all are gonna fight each other. Why are you doing this? Because
the source of every problem ever.
Yeah, it felt like I think they put Shoddy in here just to like shoehorn an explanation as to why Yugi and Alexander have to fight.
Yeah. I know it's skipping to the end, but I do love it when Shoddy's like, here's the power to rule the world, and Yugi's like, I don't want it. And he's like, okay, and that's it. It's like,
Yeah, and he's like,
very much like, well, this is filler. Nothing changes.
well,
Okay, bye.
those who have the
Thanks,
power to
Shoddy.
change the world don't need this power anyway.
Yeah,
Shut up,
so
Shoddy. That's
funny.
stupid. That's stupid logic you just said.
Hmm.
Oh god, it is a very, I will say the plot, it's entertaining when the characters are involved, but the plot is stitched together by like Elmer's glue.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not, it is not a, the plot is literally, so Alexander the Great was this great ruler, but once he got the Millennium Ring, the power got a hold of him, and then enough wasn't enough, so he decided to like crank the power even higher, which caused them to be corrupted. But unfortunately, he ended up stuck. So he had to like use his nice half to trick everybody. And then he goes, everything was planned. And the first part I said when I heard all this was, how'd you plan Joey winning the trip to India? I didn't like that. I
Yeah.
need to know how you did that. How did you
Yeah.
get that to happen? Because remember, that was a contest.
Right.
It means that
Yeah.
if anybody else had won, this whole season would have involved other people.
Yeah. And can I say too,
Yeah.
like when they do the plane crashes and Taya's like, "Oh, the pilot sent a distress signal," and then they just run off into the woods. It's like we never really see the pilots again. And it's like it kind of seems like if this wasn't made by 4Kids, like if it was a Japanese thing, it seems like one of those things where it's like the pilots died in the original and they cut it out. Like
Oh,
you literally do
definitely.
not see them after
Definite.
the
Oh,
plane crashes.
most
It's
definitely.
so funny.
For the fact that this show is exclusively English, some parts feel weirdly Japanese added. Like,
Yeah.
for example, I believe they're gonna sacrifice the little girl to the Blue Eyes White Dragon. They have no qualms with that. Like, nobody,
Hmm.
Yugi and the others have to step in and be like, you were gonna kill a little girl? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
The problem? So a lot of them are like riddles too, by the way. And Alexander said he passed the trials. And the first part, they answer it thankfully, but the first thing I was like, how'd you pass that one trial where 4 people had to stand in different poses? And
Yeah.
he has underlings. And I thought for a while the underlings were gonna turn on him because he literally sacrifices them. He throws
Hmm.
throws them away in the final fight. I was thinking in my brain, oh, okay, maybe the underlings will betray him just so that like you tried to kill us, so like, but no, they stay loyal to him. I'm like, why? Why'd y'all do this? He tried to kill y'all like twice. Like, are you
He was just having a
serious?
bad day. It's fine. He's okay now.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
forgive
Oh,
him.
speaking of which, Veronica Taylor's one of the voices for.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ash Ketchum. It's kind of funny. Um, in terms of the characters in general and just how they acted, like I said before, I think Joey and Tristan's whole thing was probably amazing, just because that's how they act. That's everybody was in character here. Nobody felt off, and that's
Mhm.
one thing I did like. Now to talk about the monsters, because a lot of the monsters are familiar. I think there's no,
Mhm.
they're all just dual monsters. Like I'm saying, like each of these monsters weren't from a season that's unfamiliar. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're all within the confines of the series. What did you think of like the characters and their cast of monsters? I believe Taya gets Happy Lover. She gets that pink Senryu,
Oh
and
yeah.
she
Dark
also gets,
Witch.
yeah, and she also gets Dark Witch. Yugi
Mhm.
gets Hinatama Soul, which is completely random.
Mhm.
Karibo, Celtic Guardian, which had his shine. Holy shit! Celtic Guardian being useful is wild to me. He had Dark Magician, which evolved into Magician of Black Chaos. And then he had Blackluster Soldier and then Blue Eyes White Dragon briefly. Joey had Baby Dragon, Red Eyes Black Dragon, and Flame Swordsman. And then Tristan had Thunder Kid, Thunder Dragon, and Shovel, whatever it's called.
Mhm.
Shovel Head or some shit like that. What did
Yeah.
you think of the cast of monsters? Oh yeah,
It
and
was
Solomon Moto had Summon Skull and Curse Dragon.
yeah. Some of them were like unexpected to me because it's
Yeah.
like, with the regular duel monsters, it's like, oh, Taya likes a magician of faith and stuff. It's like, oh wow, she actually gets like a dragon. Like she gets something that's, not
Yeah.
just a team of happy lovers. Like
I'm
that
surprised
was
she
kind
didn't
of
get Dark
fun.
Magician Girl. This would have been perfect for
Right.
her.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was like some interesting ones, like some monsters that was like I know them, but it's, not as familiar with. But I
I
liked
don't
it.
think Karibo did a single thing.
Yeah, he's just there to be cute.
Yeah, mascot required. Hinatama's Soul, I think, is the most random card Yugi's ever had.
Yeah.
Just as fireball. Used once,
Mhm.
never used again. I'm tipping my hat off to Celtic Guardian. Dude went in. Dude was going in. For a 1400 powered vanilla monster, Buddy was going in. Hearing Celtic Guardian talk was kind of weird, though. I didn't like that. But
Yeah.
Celtic Guardian said words. He was like, I shall only serve you now. Ew. Stop talking. Joey having Flaming Swordsman, that's kind of standard. Red Eyes Black Dragon. I kind of don't like that Joey kind of knew he was going to get Red Eyes.
Yeah.
Like Red Eye shows up and he's like, after all we've been through, I'm like, that's not your Red Eyes. That's a random
Right.
capsule monster Red Eyes.
And the fact that like it made him evil,
Oh
like
yeah, that. I
for some
forgot about that.
reason.
How come we couldn't keep the
Like
armor? That would have been cool.
I know, it's like, oh yeah, Yugi can get this, because he's the hero. It's like, oh, well, this one makes you evil. You're not allowed to have one. It's
And
like,
he
no,
already
that
has
stinks.
Red Eyes armor. He had it in the Seal of Orichalcos arc.
Yeah, yeah.
How come they all couldn't get armor? That would have been cool.
That would have been cool, but not
Yeah,
allowed.
Tristan having the Thunder Dragon armor would have been dope. I mean, and then they all wind up fusing their dragons together to make Unity Dragon. The Unity Dragon armor, which I'm gonna be real with you. Right before that, remember the Chaos Dragon, the 5-headed Chaos Dragon? That's what really made me go, okay, this is the virtual reality arc. Come on
Yeah,
now.
I'm
It's
so
the
sick of that
same
stupid
thing.
dragon.
It's the
There's a big
same
fight.
freaking thing.
Yeah,
It's literally the
literally.
same thing. I thought when Blue Eyes came out, they were going to have Blackluster Soldier fused with Blue. I would have been like, no, that's the exact same solution. Come on now. Damn it. Thankfully, they kind of curveball away from it. But come on, it's the same
Yeah,
thing. It's the
it's
same.
really like we have how many duel monsters? You couldn't pick another one.
You couldn't pray. Exactly. Like Chaos Dragon Envoy of the... This again? But what did you think of the trials, by the way? They were all different riddles, and Taya had a pendant that let them know when they solved them.
Yeah. I mean, they were fine. Like some of it was just very this whole series is like kind of making it up as it goes along.
Yeah.
So it's like, they're just like, oh, of course, this has to be the solution. And then they figure it out and okay, that's over. Next one. So yeah, I don't know how I really felt about each individual trial because some of them
I'll
made me
say...
laugh. Like the one with the apples.
Oh, yeah,
When they
that
were
one...
like, oh
that one
yeah,
was kind of a
the
stretch.
yeah, that one was funny. So
I just have to eat the apple that gives me a raise. Well, there's two apples. What if you pick the wrong one? I got
yeah,
lucky.
yeah, because they're like, well, they're all the right one because the enemy ate one, and then I ate one, and then the last one is for. It's like, okay, who cares? Like this is so
Right.
dumb.
Some of the
But
puzzles are very... I thought some of the puzzles were kind of in the spirit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, at least this season. It's in the spirit. Like, Yugi had to use his brain a little bit to solve some of them. Some of them, I was just like, this is generic. This is very generic. This is very one note. They're doing this so that, like, you can have a... Like, they're doing this so that they can get to the next thing. That is very
right.
obvious that there's no, like, inclusive deal going on.
Yeah,
As far
because
as
some
the...
of the.
Yeah, go
Oh
ahead.
wait, what were you gonna say?
No, keep going.
I was gonna say like just some of the way they get from point A to point B just made me laugh because like I couldn't even tell you which episode it was, but when they're like the ground is moving and they're like, oh, it's because we're on a
Island
turtle.
turtle.
Yeah, we're an island turtle, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's it. And then like the one trial, they get the wings. They're like,
Mm.
yeah, we'll just fly to the next one, and it's like all this shit just happens and just goes away. Oh wait, what's the last? Is it when they finish the last trial and they're going to the final? They're like, well, let's just envision it and then we'll be there, and that's how it works. It's like, wow.
We have to hold hands, and then
Yeah,
we'll get
just picture
back.
it. We'll teleport. It's like just a different method for every location. It's like I appreciate that. Just screw it. Don't ask. Just get there.
One thing I'm impressed by though is the OST, the score. The score for this, it uses music from the other seasons. I'm shocked. I was like, oh,
Hmm.
I remember this song. This is the song that plays when like Yugi and the others are about to like are in the middle of a duel and they summon like a boss monster. So I was so surprised that they use some of the music that they use. This is a filler saga. And like when you
Hmm.
put it under those stakes, when you lower the stakes and like go, okay, this is filler, it's a pretty impressive what they're able to do. Like it's pretty
Yeah.
impressive what's being done here. It's just like, okay, that I'm legitimately impressed that they decided to go out of their way for for dialogue like this, or the characters to like when you look at it, I'm impressed by the work is what I'm saying. They didn't
Hmm.
have to do this. They could have easily just left us with like nothing until the final season, but no, they chose to have this as part of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime canon, at least. Whether it's canon or not, it for this particular season, it doesn't feel like it's important. I feel like this season
Hmm.
debatably is better than the Grand Prix season.
Yeah.
Where would you put this? Like, if you had to say, like, I like this, would you say it's lesser or better than some of the previous seasons?
Um, no, yeah, I'd say it's a bit it's better than Grand Prix, but that's a very, very low
Yeah,
bar.
yeah,
But it's like they had fun with this. Like no one like for the better or worse, it's like no one really took this seriously. Like, like making it there's like, oh, we're gonna be a little silly with it. Like we're gonna have our little kind of like Pokemon knockoff and whatever.
right,
So it's like it's at least it's fun. Like I get
right,
through and it's like, okay, this is funny. So
yeah.
I do enjoy it more than Grand Prix where it's trying to be like, no, this is really serious. You have to care about it. I'm like, I don't care.
I never felt like it was a slog going through this.
Yeah.
I never felt like I was going, oh my God, I gotta sit through Yugi and the others doing this. Everything got pretty self-contained. I got a little worried towards that final episode because I'm like, how they gonna wrap this up? We don't have much time.
You're like tapping your watch. Like, get on with it.
Right, and then they just get on the helicopter and Joey's like, you think we'll meet weird stuff again? And they're like, yeah. And then they leave. They leave. It's over. And then like
Yeah.
the guy's like, wait a minute, weren't there only 4 of you in the helicopter? And Solomon Moto's like, 4, 6.
Yeah, who cares?
We care. The helicopter only holds enough people. We were
Yeah.
told 4.
I do.
uh,
I wrote that down like in my notes. I think that's
yeah,
is it like the final battle when was it Joey says he's like, oh, I think is when
mm,
uh Alexander the Great gets like his rush of monster or whatever.
yeah.
And Joey's like, something that big's got to be against the rules. And Tia's like, who said there's rules? And I'm like, yeah, that's a perfect example of how this show works.
Right. Honestly, and the jokes, we got to talk about them. They're corny. They're super
Yeah, oh,
corny.
they're so corny.
They're very corny. Like,
Every 5 seconds is a corny
yeah,
joke.
they did. Joey and Tristan let their puns out on this one because God, so many like vocal jokes. I think Taya let out some too, but I wasn't really paying attention to her like that.
Hmm.
Joey and Tristan, we've known them to be a comic duo, but they were letting out all the puns this time around. Really mean to Joey again, but that's kind of how this friend group works.
Yeah.
He's like literally he went off by himself and Tristan goes, yeah, but Joey's doing it.
Yeah.
And
Oh
Taya's like
yeah, that I was offended on Joey's behalf for that one
and
because
Taya's like, we just have
yeah,
to have faith in him. And he's like, I have faith that he'll screw up again. I'm like,
yeah.
what is your
Damn.
problem, Tristan? You want to talk about something? That's supposed to be like your brother. Like, dude. I mean, they have that understanding, so they can do it. But I think that's what I appreciate, though, is that the characters they have a very clear understanding of how they all work. Like even Yugi
Mhm.
can toss in a joke here and there, but I think the reason the dialogue works so well is I think this is the only Yu-Gi-Oh cast that can get away with doing jokes like that, like
Mhm.
very cringeworthy jokes. I don't know if you feel the
Mhm.
same way, but I don't know. Yu-Gi-Oh's that series, the one where like a ghost will show up and they'll be like, "You don't stand a ghost of a chance." Like
Yeah.
that's just Yu-Gi-Oh. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they can get away with it, but if I saw it in any other Yu-Gi-Oh series, I'd be like, "Ugh, what is this?"
Yeah. Yeah, there's just that like nostalgic cheesiness to the original that it's like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like if Great Moth attacks him, Joey's like, we gotta do something or else we're gonna be bug food. Like
hmm
just junk like that. Just I don't know.
I will
Like
say like there are some one-offs that like genuinely made me laugh. Like it's like, oh
yeah.
yeah, I roll. But like right at the beginning when
Mm.
Joey wins the trip and he's like, oh, that's why they call me Lucky Left Arm, and he's doing it with his right, and they're like, that's your right arm. He's like, yeah, I know. Like it just makes me laugh.
That is definitely in character with them too. That was great. That was
Yeah.
great. Freaking. I think what I also love is it's weird, but they picked a canonical place. And like this is the only
Mm.
Yu-Gi-Oh series that picks real places for the characters to go to, whereas others you gotta swallow the belief that there's a Duel Academy. Where is it? It's Duel Academy Island. What's that? It's just a Duel Academy, completely separate from everything else. Is it in a specific area? Nope, Duel Academy. Meanwhile, Yugi's cast, they've been to India, they've been to California, they've been to Egypt, they've been to Japan, they've been everywhere. I love, like, Yugi and his friends go to real places. Like, if they made a new season right now where Yugi, Joey, Tristan, and Tay and the others went to, like, Minnesota, I'd believe it. We're in Minnesota. But that's because this Yu-Gi-Oh series can get away with that. Like, they just go to places. And I love, like, India, they didn't have to go to India. That's just where this takes place.
Yeah, I like the idea that, you know, if 4Kids kept doing this, they kept making their own show. They're like, everyone goes to France and meets evil Napoleon, or like all these
The
different
spirit of
historical figures of
Napoleon!
different countries. Yeah.
It's over, Napoleon!
All right, you're like, we're gonna meet Attila the Hun, and then we're gonna be like, well, you have so many seasons, you could just keep picking historical
And knowing
figures.
them, they'll bullshit it. Attila the Hun apparently had issues with the Pharaoh back in 2,000
Right,
years ago.
yeah. Oh my God, seeing Alexander the Great and Pharaoh at time like shaking hands kind of made me laugh.
It's funny. It's
This
like
is
that.
crazy.
It's that one meme. That's the one where Yugi is shaking Hank Hill's hand.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And he's like, thank you for teaching me about propane and propane accessories. And Hank is like, I may not know what the heart of the cards is, but you have the heart of a Texan.
Yes.
Like it's very in brand. Speaking of which, they do mention the heart of the cards as a joke. They say it. Yugi goes, we have to believe
Heart
in
of the capsule.
Yeah, and he goes like, the heart of the capsule.
Yeah.
I love that one off. You can tell Dan Green had a lot of fun with this one.
Oh, what was the one line he had too during the last battle? I can't remember it now. When he missed an attack or something,
Uh-huh.
and like he was on he was on a dragon or something, and he just had some line where he's like, "Oh, sorry about that," or like it just made me laugh because it was like you never get
Yeah,
like,
I know which one
line
you're
like
talking
that
about.
from him. Yeah,
He's talking to Magician of Black Chaos. He's like, I miscalculated there.
yeah, that made me laugh. He's never that
Right.
like dry.
Also, he had it in for Alexander. He's like, face me, you coward! Like, you're sitting above there while everyone else is down here. Fight me! Like, Yugi had it out for his dude.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And I don't know what... Tim's character is very... I'll say Yugi's character was fine, because it's Yugi. But Tim felt a little backwards in this season. Only because he kept going, I'll handle this myself. Like... Wait, even Tristan calls him out. He's like, dude, you gotta think of a new line. Like, I don't know what's up with a Tim in this fighting by himself situation. I'm like, dude, did you literally learn nothing from 5 seasons?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they had to do that to keep him on brand with, like, handling the enemy. So that they could teach the lesson. Because remember, towards the end, Joey and the others are like, forget about us, you. Worry about yourself. And then he just goes around and goes, no, I won't abandon my friends. I'm like, you were the reverse of that literally the whole season. Now you're switching up. But I guess they did that to teach the kiddos, like, the lesson.
Right. Because I was rooting for little Yugi at the end, where he kind of takes control. It's like, oh, we need to do this. I'm like, oh, Yugi's gonna finish off. It's like, oh no, just kidding. It's
Well,
still
yeah, yeah,
Atem's gonna do
yeah.
it.
Tim hasn't rested his soul in Egypt yet, so little Yugi can't stand up yet.
Mm.
Yeah, because Yugi doesn't become brave until the final season. But but I will say, other than a Tim, I think everybody else was pretty in brand. It
Mhm.
didn't feel too off. And again, I think we're towards the end of this because honestly, like for 12 episodes, it kind of gave us what we needed. It was very bare bones. I think the pacing was okay too because it did everything it was supposed to. It accomplished everything it needed to. There was because it's not. I think it's because it's not attached to the main plot, so it doesn't have to worry about it.
Mhm.
Whereas in, I believe, for example, the Seal of Orichalco's arc, when that ended, Mokuba goes, "While we're in America anyway, you guys want to come to my brother's amusement park?" And they're like, "Sure." And then they're just like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we're done with that. Let's go to Egypt."
Right. And even like how the Noah arc ends with the same thing. It's like, well, glad that's over. Let's get back to Battle City. It's like so many of these arcs just end as like
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay. Not saying it was a waste of time, but they're just kind of like, well, time to move on. So it's
Kaiba
like,
took the most
oh,
traumatizing moments of his life and went, anyway, back to my
yeah.
tournament. Enough of that background bull crap. But with this, it was like fine. I had a great time, and honestly, I would recommend if you guys in the audience, like the chat, if you haven't seen it already, definitely give Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters a look. Especially if you like the main cast. If you like this cast of characters, this is definitely like it was a good like distraction. I'll say
Mhm.
it was a great distraction. It was. I think Yu-Gi-Oh's this season. That's another thing. This cast of characters are the only cast of characters that can get away with doing stuff other than dueling, straight up card games. I mean, they've done it before. They've done virtual reality. They've done dungeon dice monsters. They've played a dark RPG before. Like this cast can get away with doing stuff like that. You can put Yugi and his friends in any situation, and I think it would work.
Mhm.
We got to play Monopoly in order to. All right, I'll move. I'll move straight to jail, but I'm going to jail to protect myself. He went to
You
jail.
thought that Duel Monsters took forever. See how long it
Yeah.
takes these people to play
Dude, the
Monopoly.
Monopoly arc was so long. It was like 24 episodes. Oh my goodness. He went to jail on purpose so that he could avoid stepping on any of my pieces. Dun, 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 dun. It would be, and then they'd show the to be continued at the very bottom.
Yeah. Oh god.
But we're rambling. So, Natalie, what would you? I know I already said my recommendation. Would you recommend someone watch this very one-off season of Yu-Gi-Oh?
Like I'd say if you enjoy, like you're like, oh, I want to watch the whole thing of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like obviously this is required. This is a little side quest. Like it's
Yeah.
goofy. If you think you're gonna be bored, just watch it with friends, and you'll find plenty of things to laugh at and make fun of, and it'll be a good time.
I want to ask this too. If you were to watch this in the order in which it's supposed to take place, which is right before the final season,
Ugh.
so
Yeah.
add this series to the rest. Do you feel it would be a complete experience? Like, do you feel like this would fill up the Yu-Gi-Oh experience for at least for this series?
Like what do you mean? Like
Like,
if it would?
would you feel like, okay, I didn't, because it's filler, yes, which means if you skip it, you
Yeah.
don't miss anything. But there's also that thing with filler where it makes you feel more complete after you've watched it. Like
Mm.
everything, like for example, when you watch the final episode of Yu-Gi-Oh, you're thinking about everything that everybody's been through. This is
Mm-hmm.
obviously one of those adventures. It's not a canon adventure, but it was a part of it.
Yeah.
Like
I
even when
think
I
for me,
watched, go ahead, Natalie.
since like the way, I mean, this wasn't created or it didn't air until after the series was over.
Right.
So like even though it doesn't make sense to watch it that way, like I guess I prefer having it off in its own little corner. Because if I had to watch the Grand Prix and then this before Egypt, I'd be pissed.
Ooh.
Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to watch all that bullshit after
Okay.
that.
So for me, I just like seeing these characters do stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't mind if it took place right before Egypt. Because in Egypt, we don't get any duels except for, I believe, Kaiba versus Bakura, and then Yugi versus Bakura, and then Yugi versus Yugi. Those are
Hmm.
like the only duels we get in that season. So with that being said, I would watch this after Grand Prix only because I like the cast. I like seeing the
Right.
cast do stuff, and it fills up the adventure. Like literally, like I like to add all of their adventures into it. See, like I'm the type of person I'll count season 0 even though it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And what's her name? Mio. Mio randomly
Yeah, Mia.
disappears. So
Hmm.
I'm in my brain she just transferred to another school and then they just moved on. Like that's what happens in my head. She moved and then they just kept going because friends move sometimes. I'm the type of person who will glue all of their experiences together as like one cohesive thing. And honestly, I feel like this is a fun like extra piece to the puzzle. No pun intended. I like it. I like adding it to the list of adventures because when I watched this years after the fact, long after
Hmm.
the series had ended. So in my brain, this felt like a nice little like hidden gem to me.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely like if you want more Yu-Gi-Oh, if you've seen the show, this
Yeah,
is a
it's just like
treat.
when you watch Dark Side of Dimensions, you feel joy because like you get to see the cast again and they're completely on brand. They act exactly the way they normally act. Like it's perfect. It's perfect. So, yeah, I liked it. But with that being said, I think this is the last major Yu-Gi-Oh thing we
Oh, that's sad.
done, right? Well, at least with this cast. This cast, this is the last thing I think this cast did. We covered everything. We covered Dark Side of Dimensions, Pyramid of Light. We've done all the damn OVAs.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is it. I don't think Yugi and the cast have done anything else. Would you want them to do something else? Like, would you like a OVA or a movie to randomly bring these guys back?
That's a good thing. Like, I'm honestly surprised we do not have like a DM reboot, in this age where
Yeah,
everything is being brought back. So, like, I kind of respect that. I like that there's just a kind of a finality, but
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
I wouldn't mind though, because I like them.
True,
So,
true, right. I say, well, because Four Kids is done, right? Like, I don't think,
yeah.
yeah, they're gone. So, unfortunately, if they ever did this again, they would literally have to get the cast together individually, which I believe the cast loves their jobs, though. Like,
Hmm.
Dan Green, I believe he's solidified himself as Yugi.
Right.
He's like what Veronica Taylor did with Ash, where even though she lost the role, she still goes to like conventions and does the voice.
Hmm. Oh my
So
God, can you imagine anyone trying to recast Dan Green?
oh
Like,
hell,
good luck.
nope. I wouldn't even nope. I wouldn't mess with it. But yeah, I think I honestly think that stuff like this is very well welcomed. I wouldn't mind Yugi and the cast doing something else as a special though. Not
Hmm.
don't make it a oh this is a continuation or
Yeah, the gang is back and blah blah blah. Like,
yeah,
nah,
don't
let's
make
see
a
what they're
new
doing.
series. Yugi, the
No.
whole point was of Dark Side of Dimensions was to let go. Well, except for
Hmm.
Kaiba, who couldn't let go. But you really changed my like perspective of Kaiba thanks to that movie. Like your review when you did the review of that, I was just like, you're right. Kaiba isn't shit in this movie.
He never
Dang.
learns.
That made me kind of sad because I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, you're right. They kind of retconned his character backwards. But we're rambling. So with that being said, if you haven't already, guys, go check out Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters. It's a fun little like side thing. The villain acts exactly like how you would expect him to act. By the way, Alexander is no different than like Darts or
Yeah.
Merrick. He's very
And Oliver Wyman, Drew's voice actor, voices him. So that's a bonus for me. Uh,
what voices does he do?
he's also Siegfried in
Oh
season
my
5.
God! What?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
we
I think
just
he's
got done.
Akhenaten or whatever
He
dude.
is
Yeah, but
Akhenaten. Oh my
yeah,
God. We literally just
my
got
dude
done
was
hearing his.
popping off in season 5.
Oh, so literally, so if you had watched the Grand Prix and then watched this, you'd be like, wait a minute, hold on now. Didn't we just hear his voice? I guess it's different though, because he
Yes.
made his voice very German.
Yeah.
So here it's basically less German.
Yeah, he's just normal here.
Yeah, he's just normal. But yeah, it's a fun distraction if you literally are like craving more Yu-Gi-Oh content. Give it a watch. It's fun. It's a nice little distraction. It's I wouldn't invest too hard into it though. It's not doing anything mind blowing. It's literally stock like let's play an RPG with our friends. That's literally all. It's let's play an RPG. Oh yeah, by the way, our lives are on the line again.
Yeah.
But with that being said, that is the complete end of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters March, at least for now. I'm sure next time in March we'll have some other fun stuff rolling in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh. I think we might end up tackling like the games or something more now, like
Mm.
the off games, because I want to cover Capsule Monsters. You know what's funny with Capsule
Best
Monsters?
game.
Yeah, Yugi and Joey and the other, like, they all talk to each other like, no, I'm like, I remember Mokuba goes, bring it on, Yugi. You can't beat me. And Yugi goes, didn't I beat you last time we played Capsule Monsters? I'm like, he remembers season 0. Yeah. So, it's like, I don't know. It's fun to see things with this cast, and it's good to see that take place. So, with that being said, though, thank you so much, Natalie. It's time to Drew. Tell them where they can find you.
I'm on Twitter, and that's mostly it. I mean, I got Tumblr, I got YouTube, I got Instagram, but pretty much Twitter.
Nice, nice. All right. And so, with that all being said, thank y'all so much. Really appreciate it. Had a lot of fun doing this review with you, Natalie. So, with that being said, I'll see y'all then, everybody. Tyrone TG3 out. Bye.
Bye.